Boys, let me tell you something. It's coming. It is on its way. The big major Master Duel update. Well, what we think, what the community is speculating, is the big update day. The packs, the duelist past, everything is ending in 8 days from now, and they didn't used to sync up. They actually made them sync up later, which makes a lot of people assume that is when the next major patch will come out, when the ban list will come out, when the new cards will come out, etc, etc, etc. This video is kind of what I think needs to happen for a successful update to Master Duel, for it to be considered a successful update. And it's not necessarily all these things need to happen, but some combination of these things need to happen. At least like 2 of them need to happen for it to be considered a successful update. Now, let me be the first to say, I actually don't mind this kind of 3-month waiting span for an update to the game. Another game I play a lot, I mention on stream all the time, is Final Fantasy XIV, and they update the game, 3 to 4 months in between updates to the game. And it works because of one reason. That one reason being, when the updates come through, when the patches come through, they are extremely massive. So let's say you update the game every 3 months. Ideally, when you release the first month of content is going to be massive. You're going to grind through a bunch of it. The second month is kind of the extra stuff that's not like super hype, but you still want to do it anyway. And then the third month's kind of the dead month, where you're just kind of waiting for the next patch. I'm actually okay with that style of patching a game, as long as the actual content update, when it drops, I'm not finished in like a day with the content. There's like a lot of content to go through, a lot of cards to go through, new metas to talk about, just a lot of stuff to do with the content itself. Now, in terms of Master Duel, I still do feel like Master Duel is missing a lot of core things to the game that need to be added over time, and I'm hoping to see a lot of that stuff kind of get added to the game. But before we talk about all that, let's kind of start slowly, what everyone expects first, and then maybe a couple of things that I kind of expect out of the game, in terms of what I want to see for the future, right? First and foremost, I think it kind of goes without saying, even above a ban list, I think everyone wants new cards. Maybe some people prefer a ban list more, but me personally, I think we're like 4 sets behind OCG and 3 or 2 sets behind TCG or something like that. Someone told me on stream. And I feel like that's kind of insane. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I personally want to be caught up in sets, or at most like a set behind. You know what I mean? Obviously, in real life, cards come out in OCG before TCG. Sometimes cards come out in TCG before OCG as well. But it's not like several sets behind at a time. It's usually 1 to 2 sets at a time, and I kind of want to get into that swing of things with Master Duel. I understand with Master Duel, it's a developed game, so there had to be a cutoff on when they could develop stuff so they can actually polish the game and send it out for release. I'm just hoping they're using this time to kind of catch us up with whatever meta they decide to go with, right? So I really hope we get new cards, and I hope it's a lot of new cards, not just one new engine and that's it. I want like a lot of new cards to really shape up the metagame. On top of that, probably equally as important for a lot of people, for me, it's kind of second importance, but I think some people are going to say it's the most important to them, or maybe even as equally as important. You guys let me know down in the comments what's more important to you, new cards or ban lists. I think it's going to be different for everybody, but just let me know. Ban list, right? There is quite a few polarizing cards in the game. If you're talking about VFD or Maxi or any card, you could pick any card that's currently played in the metagame, any engine currently played in the metagame, and people are ready to defend it. People are ready to tear it down. Either way, we need a ban list, right? Especially like the FTK strategies. Listen, there's going to be a lot of things that get banned in Master Duel that you won't see banned in real life, just because Master Duel is a video game, right? And video games can be exploited sometimes through bots, just through, sheer stall power, if you will, where in real life you can kind of, call someone out for timer stalling. In this game, not so much, right? Like, there's an in-game timer, and as long as they play within the in-game timer, technically by the game rules, they're just playing the game, And then, of course, when it comes to from a meta perspective, we see Drytron, we see Tri-Brigade dominating the metagames. We see Virtual Worlds, we see a little bit of Emancipator. A ban list should be there to shake up the metagame and make it a little bit more interesting. And of course, if something is crazy like Tri-Brigade is kind of taking over, the metagame, that does need to be addressed. Otherwise, it just continues to be dominant when new cards come out, or so we think. Obviously, it's a little different because we know what the cards are going to come out, and we kind of have a pretty good idea how the metas will end up looking because we're so significantly behind. But this kind of ties in with the first point where I'm hoping that we do catch up, and we don't have to constantly keep just like looking and seeing what OCG, TCG meta is and then just copy pasting it into our game. We're caught up and we're creating the meta alongside them, and maybe perhaps our own meta game, because the producer for the game did say that we're gonna apparently have a different ban list than TCG OCG. I don't know how far that's gonna go, but we'll see what ends up happening with that. The next thing I think that's super, super important, it's actually a two-parter, and it has to do with the ranked system and in general prolonged play of Master Duel. The ranked system is currently kind of using the same thing that Duel Links has, and it's not really that good. Even if they added more ranks, and I know a lot of people are gonna be like, add more ranks, add more ranks, add more ranks. I don't think more ranks fixes the core problem of ranked. Once you hit Platinum 1 or Legend 1 or King of Games or whatever ranks they release, that's it. There's nothing to do. I've been screaming on top of my lungs, ELO system would be amazing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an ELO system. We could have, I talked about back in the Duel Links days, a prestige system where you hit maximum rank and then you have the option to go back and rank and then keep hitting maximum rank, and then it's like every time you hit maximum rank, you get an additional medal next to your name or something, just to show that you did it, right? Obviously, someone who did it like 20 times in a season is going to be, it's going to be a little cooler than someone who's did it once. An ELO system, of course, would be always awesome, where you can continue competing at the top level. That would be super, super cool. What's important is there needs to be some prolonged play, some reason to continue playing the game, even if there is no content, right? Just continuing to grind ladder and actually making you want to play good decks rather than just going back and playing whatever meme deck because, well, you're bored. There's nothing to do. You only like tournaments, community tournaments to do is like the only thing that's left. There's a couple things they could do. They could add a casual queue. And by casual queue, I mean a queue that doesn't take your rank into consideration. So if a gold player and a silver player and a platinum player all queued up, they could all match with each other. And this would be nice because if you're a high-rated platinum player, you can play your meme decks, and you don't have to play your top-tier meta decks, and you don't have to run the fear of, oh, I'm going to run into another platinum player that's playing a meta deck, and I can't win unless I play a meta deck, right? So that's one thing they could do take that from a more casual for fun perspective rather than a ranked perspective. They could also add arena mode, draft mode. We talked about this earlier as well. Draft mode actually exists in the Legacy of Duelist video game, which is one of the games that was quoted when this game was developed. And I'm sure there's code in this game that got ripped from that game. And basically, draft mode is you go in, you open a whole bunch of packs. They don't cost you anything to open. You probably have to pay something to actually, 100 gems to actually run an arena run or whatever the cost will end up being. You open up packs. They're temporary. You build a temporary deck out of those packs, and you keep dueling until you lose. And once you lose, usually it's like twice in a row, your run ends, and however many wins you got, you get rewards based on those wins. So again, that's just another cool thing that you can do to continuously play Master Duel. Because right now, just being like a ranked simulator, it isn't that fun after you do it like three months in a row. And it's like the same metagame, you know, especially in a metagame that's kind of oppressive. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, there's always going to be an oppressive meta. That's just how the game functions, right? So things like that, you know, would be nice. Some way to prolong gameplay. The last thing I'd like to see, and this one is more of a personal wish, it doesn't necessarily have to come true, but if it did, it'd be very awesome. The Exceed Festival, the rare normal festival, it would be very nice if either those queues could be permanent, or at the very least, when we make duel rooms, we could always permanently make those styles of rooms available for a duel room. And then on top of that, while we're talking about it, banned cards, it would be very nice if we could do an unbanned, you know, tournament or unbanned duel room. And honestly, a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, well, you don't want to own banned cards. That's a very easy fix. All banned cards, just make them free use for anyone, and then if they ever become unbanned, they're no longer usable by everybody. Boom, call it a day. I just think those kinds of fun modes would help content creators a lot, because, you know, I don't have to wait for an Exceed Festival. I can say, hey guys, we're having an Exceed Festival. Boom, done. That one might be a little bit more wishful thinking. That little last part, it's not super critical, but everything I said before it, I think would help the game very much so greatly. So there you go. What do you guys expect out of the updates that are coming out? What would you like to see? What do you expect to see? And kind of what does Master Duel kind of have to do to keep you playing the game itself? Leave a comment down below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button. We gotta beat the goddamn algorithm. The algorithm meta deck is insane, man. Yeah, you gotta do all these crazy hoops. You're getting negated by the algorithm. We need to beat it, and I need your help doing that. Get in there, boys. I love you. Till the next video.